Okay, so let me talk about this. It looks really nice right now, but I did have to go back over it again because the first time I stitched this seam, which is underneath here, I stitched it at 5/8, but it was pulling. So I took it out and I redid it. And what I did is I actually pinned this edge here so that it matched up. And then I folded this under and I made sure it was 2 inches away. And then I went ahead and pressed this really good. Once I got that folded where I wanted it, I pressed it good. And then I went back in here and I followed my pressing line. Okay? And what I ended up doing was, instead of stitching this at 5/8, I stitched it at about, it was about a 1/2 inch. It's really a little bit less than 1/2 inch, but it's not quite 3/8. So just aim to do a little bit less than 1/2 inch here. And I stitched it from here, so those two seams didn't match up exactly, which was okay. And then I stitched it to the end of the, or where at the seam of the mitered corner. Then I went back in here and it matched up really good. And then I was able to get this pressed, and see your seam here is at 5/8, but here on this side it's 3/8, and here it's a little bit more than 3/8. And once I got that lined up, look how nice that matches up. Okay, then let's talk about this corner. Because we stopped sewing here, right here, 1 3/4 inches, and then here I stopped sewing here, I now can finish this corner. Now, originally I had turned this under like that, but I don't want to, if I turn it this way, then I've got this extra here where there's a loose edge. So I went back in and I turned it, followed the seam down here, and then I folded it up this way so that the folded edge here is, there's doubles back on itself on this side, but on this side it keeps it nice and just a nice folded edge. And then I brought it down here and I pinned it. And now I'm going to go back and I'm going to slip stitch between here and here. And then this is already pressed under good and matches up. And this is ready now for the side seams. We've got our, I just need to slip stitch that, but look how nice that looks. And this follows a little different shape, but it's so much easier to sew. And then let's flip it around and see how it looks. Oh, well, once we get rid of all the fuzz, and see, look how nice that looks. We've got our invisible zipper right here, and it comes down into the seam, and it goes down. And then the other thing I can do now is, here's where my vent, now this is a 6-inch vent. So when you stitch from, when I, this, well, it's a little bit shy of 6 inches with the hems making them even. It took a little bit of extra. But it opens up nice, and you want this to match up good here. So now what I could do is I could go in here and I could stitch this down on the outside just to keep that so that it stops, but it will. But anyway, so on this side it looks exactly where you want it, and then on the inside you've got a nice lined vent.